From August 1929 to March 1933, there was a severe worldwide economic depression called the Great Depression. It was the depression that started in the United States and spread to other parts of the world. During that time, there was a lot of poverty, hunger, and a lot of suffering. Banks, factories, and other businesses closed, farms dried up, and it was during this time that Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich. And it was to help people who really want to come out of poverty to become rich. The book went on to become an international bestseller, and by the time of Napoleon Hill's death in 1970, it has sold more than 20 million copies. And as of today, it has sold more than 100 million copies. The book's title may deceive you to think it is about money. However, the ideas in the book goes beyond thinking about money. It is a book for anyone who wants to build a transgenerational and a global legacy. And today, I will present to you 8 powerful lessons I have learned from Think and Grow Rich. I will want to know which of them is the most powerful lesson that you have learned from the book, and try to indicate that in the comment section. If you are new here, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell, as I'll continue to share with you the secrets of success from the world's most successful people. Before I go into the lessons, I would like to state that there are 13 steps to riches stated by Napoleon Hill himself in the book, and I have summarized the whole book into the 8 best lessons I have learned. And remember that these are not mere lessons. Napoleon Hill interviewed 500 billionaires and millionaires and the richest and most successful people in the world at that time before writing the book. And so these are powerful lessons. And I am starting from lesson number 8. Lesson number 8 I learned from Think and Grow Rich is that desire is the starting point of all achievement. Napoleon Hill is saying that before you can achieve anything in life, you must have an unwavering desire, commitment, a consuming obsession. You see, a lot of people are not able to achieve what they want in life because they are not even committed. They don't even have a strong desire. That's why Napoleon Hill said that weak desire produces weak results. If your desire for something is not strong, that's why you will say, I want to do this. And you will not actually be committed to doing it and achieving it. And I will give an example, a story from the book to illustrate that. And there was a man called Edwin C. Barnes who wanted to go into business with Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison, for those who don't know, is one of the greatest inventors who ever lived, with over 1,093 patents. He's one of his most popular inventions is the light bulb that we are all enjoying today. Before Thomas Edison's time, there was no light bulb. Now, so Thomas Edison was one of the richest people in the world at that time. And so Edwin Barnes wanted to go into business with Thomas Edison. And because Thomas Edison was such a very rich and special person, it was difficult to get in contact with him. So what Edwin Barnes did is that he actually couldn't even get the train fare to get to Thomas Edison. Because Edwin Barnes couldn't get money to take a train to go to Thomas Edison, he has to even sleep in the part of the train where they keep goods and where human beings are not supposed to be. Well, he finally got to Thomas Edison. So when he got to Thomas Edison, he has to run errands for Thomas Edison. He has to just try anything he could do for Thomas Edison to finally recognize him or to go into business with him. So Edwin Barnes had to meander his ways, and because of that passion, it took him 5 good years to be running errands for Thomas Edison, to be doing all that he could to get into business with Thomas Edison. And finally, after 5 years, he was able to go into business with Thomas Edison. And so Napoleon Hill went on to say that if it was not the passion, the consuming obsession, that dedication that he really wanted to go into partnership with Thomas Edison, no one would have continued. He would have even given up, or he would have said, okay, I tried after 1 year and nothing is working, let me go and maybe do something else. But because he was dedicated to go into business with him, he was able to stay trying to run errands for him and doing all that he could, and then working with Thomas Edison through some more errands, and finally he was recognized. And today, before Edwin Barnes actually died, he was one of the richest men because Thomas Edison finally gave him a portion of his business to deal with, and so through that he became a very rich man and one of the most successful men of his time. Okay, so I'm going to lesson number 7. Lesson number 7 from the book Think and Grow Rich is that don't be afraid of death because it is a mere transition. Napoleon Hill is saying that from our basic science, we all know that the whole world is divided into two major things, matter and energy. So everything that you can see in this world is classified into two major things, that is matter and energy. And again, from science, we understand that neither matter nor energy can be destroyed. However, matter and energy can be transformed from one form to another, but can never be destroyed. And subsequently, Napoleon Hill went on to say that human beings, as we live, this life that we breathe is energy, if it is anything at all. So, if life is energy and our body is matter, and energy or matter cannot be destroyed but can be transformed from one form to another. Life, if we die, we are merely transformed from one form of energy to another, but not that we are completely destroyed, but we are transformed from one form of energy to another. And he went on to say, if this is not true, if you think being transformed from one form to another is not true, we actually die and it ends, there's nothing else, then he says that, okay, then nothing happens after death, then it is just eternal rest and sleep and nothing else. So there are two scenarios here. He's saying that either when we die, we are transformed from one form of energy to another, or one form of matter to another. And if you don't believe that philosophy is true, or if that actually is not what happens, then nothing happens after death except a long eternal rest. So with this, you can wipe the fear of death away. Okay, so I go to lesson number 6. Number 6 from Napoleon Hill is that knowledge is not power, as people mistakenly always believe, but knowledge is potential power. Why did he say this? Napoleon Hill is saying that a lot of professors at the university and very highly educated people are very poor and unsuccessful, but they have a lot of knowledge. If knowledge was actually power, all those people would have been successful. So what Napoleon Hill went on to say is that it is only when you organize knowledge and intelligently direct it as helping to solve people's problems that knowledge becomes power. But if knowledge is not organized to solve people's problems, raw knowledge is not power. That is why the professors at the universities and the highly academic people are unsuccessful, but they have a lot of knowledge. So that's what Napoleon Hill says. And he went on to say that a lot of people make the mistake of thinking we go to school to learn. A lot of the things we learn in school don't really make a person to succeed in life. That's why Napoleon Hill says that a lot of those who stay at home, even there are a lot of people who have not gone to school, but because they learn, they are able to learn some useful knowledge that can help them to really solve human problems. Example, Henry Ford didn't go to school. He had only 2 years of education. Thomas Edison went to school for only 3 months. But these are the people who they have changed the world so much that up to now we can't forget of them, because it was Henry Ford who started mass production of cars. Before his time, there was no car in the world. But it was Henry Ford who came on to produce cars, and he was not educated. Secondly, Thomas Edison had only 3 months of schooling, and he's the one who invented the light bulb that we're enjoying today. We have a lot of highly educated people, even PhD people, professors, highly educated people who cannot use their knowledge to do anything. That is why Napoleon Hill also went on to say, the person who stops learning mainly because he thinks he has completed school is hopelessly doomed to mediocrity, no matter what may be his or her calling. So what he went on to say is that, don't say I have completed school, so I've learned a lot, I don't need to learn again. No, knowledge actually, or learning, begins after school. And don't think you are in the classroom, so you are learning. So I think I'm done with the third one, or the fifth one. I'll go to the fifth one. The fifth one, Napoleon Hill is saying that you should leave no room for retreat by burning all your bridges. What did he mean? What he was saying is that anything that you want to do, there's always risk. And when you are taking risk, don't look back. Because sometimes when you look back, you give up on taking the risk. And a popular example of this from the book Think and Grow Rich is that there was a Spanish soldier or a commander who was coming to conquer the area presently occupied by Mexico. So when they were coming to fight, he was carrying he went with his soldiers. They went through the sea, and when they came to land to now enter the community and attack them, they got to the community and they were also ready to attack them, and the community soldiers were more than their soldiers. So what did he do? He told his soldiers that he actually went on to burn the ships and told his soldiers that as of now, we have nothing, no way to go back. We have burned the ships. Back behind us is the sea, and we cannot go there. We don't have any ship again. And in front of us is our enemies. If we don't conquer them, they will kill us today. There is no any other second option for us. Guess what happened? They fought and defeated the enemies, even upon their large numbers. So what the lesson that we can learn from this particular scenario is that anything that you are going to do or any risk you are going to commit, give your all and commit, and don't look back. Sometimes there are certain options or certain route that we leave that can help us to go back, and those things don't help us because when you are thinking too and you are not clear on your vision, you will end up going back. Okay, so I'm going to the fourth lesson I learned from Think and Grow Rich, and it is that desire backed by faith can make the impossible possible. What did he mean? Napoleon Hill had a son called Blair Hill, and that guy was born without ears. There was no ears and no hole where he could hear. So according to doctors at birth, they concluded that the child cannot hear. There's nothing that they can do. He can't hear. But Napoleon Hill didn't give up. He said he will never accept a deaf and mute son. So he's going to do all that he could do for nature to correct that error. So Napoleon Hill went on to discover that there is a principle called bone conduction. And what happens is that when you touch the person and speak, it is able to enter and they could hear. But when you speak like this, because the person doesn't have natural hearing, he or she can't hear. So Napoleon Hill used this particular principle and started doing ways he could induce the guy to speak. So he tried doing his best, and he did not send him to the school for the deaf, but he rather sent him to a normal school where he has to force the guy to learn how to speak. And finally, they could discover an electrical hearing equipment that they made the guy try. And when initially it did not work, but they did not give up, they continued pushing. And finally, it was able to help the guy hear normally. And he actually could hear like the way normal human beings hear, but he didn't have ears. He was not having ears. There was no canal where air could pass through for him to hear. Until now, it's a wonder that the medical community could not understand, because this is not, science has proven that without the ears you cannot hear, but he's able to hear without ears. And so that is what Napoleon Hill meant when he says desire backed by faith knows nowhere as impossible, because everybody believed, even the scientifically, they said it was not possible, but they were able to, with their desire and their faith and their belief that the guy could speak, they made it possible. Okay, so we go to the third lesson. The third lesson from Think and Grow Rich is that you must have definiteness of purpose. If you really want to achieve anything, whatever you want to achieve in life, you must have definiteness of purpose. And this, what he is trying to say is that a lot of people want to achieve certain goals in life, but they don't have a very clear vision. For example, someone can say, okay, I want to become rich, I want to have a lot of money. Those are not actually goals, because to actually have a definite goal, you must indicate how much exactly that you want to make. For example, okay, I want to make $10,000. by the end of the year. I want to make $100,000 by the end of the year. I want to make $1,000 or $2,000 by the end of the month. Not even by the end of the month, write the specific date. If you want to make $100,000 by the end of the year, indicate the particular specific date that you want to make that money, and indicate what you want to do in return for that money, because you cannot just say you want to make money and you have nothing to give in for that money. So Napoleon Hill is saying that you must have definiteness of purpose, a very clear vision, break every goal into details, a step-by-step process of what you are going to do in order to achieve that goal. So from today, don't just set any vague goal by saying, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, but give very clear, detailed goals as to what you are going to do in order to achieve your goal by that particular date. Okay, we'll go to the next one. The next one, which is the second one. Napoleon Hill says that you can achieve anything you want if you master your subconscious mind. Napoleon Hill says the subconscious mind does not have any distinction between constructive and destructive thought impulses. It merely converts whatever it receives into action. What does it mean? You see, whoever you become depends on what you feed your mind. If you want to achieve success, you have to feed your mind with success. If you want failure, if you feed your mind with failure, you will actually fail. Because a lot of people actually don't take, or they don't make very conscious decisions towards what they want to achieve in life. But research or psychology has shown that our mind, there are more negative things in the environment than positive. Everything that we see, 95% are negative. And so, if you don't actually take a conscious effort to master what you enter your mind, then every day negative things will be entering. And at the end of the day, the default information which enters that is negative will not make you achieve any better thing in life. That is why Napoleon Hill says that you should master how the subconscious mind works and understand that anything that you want the subconscious mind to do for you, you have to do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again till the subconscious mind grabs it. And when it becomes part of your life, you will do it without any struggle. You will do it unconsciously. And as you know, the subconscious mind doesn't sleep. And the subconscious mind too cannot dictate. It merely receives what the conscious mind gives it. And when your conscious mind continues to give it negative information that is not positive and cannot transform your life, and it finally takes control of your life, then you are in trouble. Therefore, you should be very conscious and deliberate in whatever enters your mind. If you control what enters your conscious mind, which will now get to your subconscious mind, if it is positive things, then it is going to also transform your subconscious mind to think positive. And it will automatically help you to achieve what you want. Because those who smoke and they want to really stop but they can't stop, they themselves intentionally did it. They started smoking small, consciously, doing it as a joke. And by the time they got to know, it became part of their subconscious mind. And now they want to stop. They can't stop because the subconscious mind, anything that controls your subconscious mind becomes a habit. So learn to control what enters your subconscious mind. And before you can change your life, before you can transform your life, you must transform the content of your subconscious mind. Because what is in your subconscious mind will show what happens in your life. So take notice of that. Okay, we go to the first one, the first lesson I learned from Think and Grow Rich, which is you can achieve whatever you want, or you are always one idea away from what you want to do through imagination and critical thinking. So what Napoleon Hill is saying is that whatever you want to do in this world, there is one idea away that is actually the gap between you and what you want to achieve. And there was a specific example from the book. There was a man called Dr. Gansilos, who was a pastor in the United States. He wanted to build a university which could teach students practical things, because at that time, most of the universities were teaching theoretical things. Even today, most of the universities in today's world, they still teach a lot of theoretical concepts that many graduates come out and cannot apply anything they learned from school. So Dr. Gansulos wanted to build a university that would teach students practical things and can help those students to really transform the society, but he did not have the money. So he thought about this idea for over 2 years. He could not know exactly what he's going to do in order to get that money. But one day, he thought about it until he came to a decision that, okay, he will preach a sermon. And the title of that sermon is What I Would Do If I Had a $1 million. So he wrote the sermon. He went to most of the media stations and announced the sermon he's going to preach. And on Sunday, because he was rushing to come and preach, he came and forgot to take the sermon he has written down. But because he had been thinking over it a long time, it became part of his subconscious mind, and he could even preach every message that he wrote without even looking at it. So he preached. So he described everything in detail about the type of university he wants to build and how that university is going to teach practical things and help the university help students to really transform the society. And guess what happened? After he finished preaching, someone from the congregation came to him and said, "Man of God, I have really listened to your sermon very well, and I believe what you said you would do. If you had the money, you would do it. So because of that, come to my office on Monday and take the $1 million and go and start." And actually, he went, and the man gave him the $1 million. And they went and started the university. That university's name currently today is Illinois Institute of Technology. You can check it out. And it has come to be known as the $1 million sermon that built the university. And it is one of the most wonderful things that ever happened in those days. So why was he able to get a thing within less than 48 hours? But he had been thinking over it over 2 years and couldn't really, he never made any conscious decision to think about it critically. But when he made the decision to think critically about where he would get the money, within 48 hours, he came out with the decision to preach the sermon, and he had the money within that 48 hours. So whatever that you want to do, if you could be frank with yourself, sit down to think and put your mind to the test and really think through things, you always come out with that one idea that is going to help you to achieve what you want to achieve. Once again, remember to subscribe to this channel and comment below which of them is the most powerful lesson that you have learned. Thank you so much for listening.